Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. About a couple weeks ago, I had made a video on Redo the Healer. Redo the Healer, what am I bothering trying to fucking explain this to you? If you clicked on this video, you already know what the fuck Redo the Healer is. Anyways, I essentially made a video of me ranting about Redo the Healer. Didn't expect to get a lot of views. Sure, it has 600, so in the grand scheme of things on YouTube, not a lot. But for a guy that only has 600 subscribers, and most of the people that watched the video weren't my subscribers, that means that I hit the right audience, just, what I was looking for. I mean, look at the like and dislike. Whoa. Damn, that is pretty bad. Seems like more than half people didn't like this video. Huh. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little surprised. Though I can understand, the video definitely was a lot more ranty and less taking things apart sort of type thing. And I definitely felt like I was attacking the people that watch these type of things rather than the actual thing itself. Which wasn't the point, but is at the same time. Anyways, I can quite understand that the video wasn't good, and it really wasn't scripted. Really, I just got on my phone and started recording my thoughts. And I thought that maybe getting my thought out there would be pretty good. Personally, I absolutely hate this anime, so I decided to make a video about it. And this was it. What I was surprised about is the surprising amount of comments I received. I don't get a lot of comments on my videos. You see, I'm what you call a lazy fucking content thief. What I do is when I watch people's live streams or videos or watch stuff and I think I really like that, I just copy it and put it on my channel. Not because I want views. What am I gonna get with 50, 60 views taking other people's content? People that have probably seen that thing like a billion times. No, really, I just use my YouTube channel to save videos and stuff like that I like, so that it's easier for me to look back through, because all I have to do is go to my channel. And of course, if people find it and they want to go through my videos, that's fine too. But occasionally, I will make a video where I put my thoughts out there. I made a video about Dream's, perception on stands. I made a few other videos where, I just talk about things that I disagree with or agree with. Just kind of stuff to have out on the internet that I can look back on later in the future to see whether or not I have changed my mind. It's been a couple weeks now. I still hate Redo the Healer. Didn't even bother watching the rest of it. I saw some clips that made me dislike it even more. So, yeah. Anyways, you came here to see me read comments, so I guess that's what I'll do. So, first one, by XXHR Rolanded Rogue XX. Man, you name your guy like I named my guy like in 12th grade or like some other shit. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. It's a really weird name, but I understand because my channel's name is Undead Games, and I'm not undead, nor do I play games. Yeah, his comment is, and healers have a secret ability. Lol, he can heal. How hard is that to understand? Are you surprised Goku can fly? Do you know what heal means? See, according to the dictionary, heal means to cause a wow, this is weird, written really weirdly. Maybe we shouldn't trust a dictionary. Parentheses of a person or treatment cause, parentheses again, a wound, injury, or person to become healthy or sound again. Okay, that seems pretty simple, right? And at the little bottom, you see become sound or healthy. If I have a stutter, so it's hard for me to read things out loud. But yes, healers in the anime do have a secret ability. But my problem isn't with the secret ability. It's the fact that his power is called healing, and it can do more than healing. You see, Goku's powers are broken up into ki powers. He can manipulate ki, and not just energy blasts and powering up, but he can also, that increases physical, abilities, but he also can use it to fly. I think they do a Videl episode where how they're able to fly is they either put ki at the bottom of their feet or surround themselves, and since they control ki, and we've seen Goku levitate things when he was in the hospital using ki, he's basically just levitating himself. Fairly fucking simple, right? His power is ki manipulation. That's about it. That's it. And that term is extremely broad, like gravity manipulation. If you have the power to manipulate gravity, you can make it go up, you can make it go down, you can make the gravity heavy, you can make it light. When you have a term like that that's labeled that way and it's broad, you're expected to have a number of subset of abilities that you are able to do underneath that big sort of umbrella name of that ability. When your power is fucking heal, why the hell do you have the ability to reverse time? How do you... I mean, I can understand maybe changing someone's face, but that also doesn't make sense. Like, maybe if someone's face got disfigured and you healed it, and then maybe that's when it would make sense. But, like, I don't understand the other bits. I don't understand the other bits. Why does he have 20 abilities and it's all under heal? That's stupid. Anyways, next one is by Black and White Duo. And I think his channel symbol says a lot about his name. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but man, I'm really targeting people's personal channels. I don't have anything to say about mine. It's the guy from Origami. Anyways, he says, one thing I know that people who are shitting on this anime low-key like it. Means you care about it in some way. I personally do like this anime. It's dark, realistic if you remove the OP healing. I do agree with you saying that it's sadistic porn anime / hentai and definitely doesn't need to be there as much it is. But that's his character. If you think about he's been commas are all in the wrong place. He's been raped and I shouldn't have used that word. Graped. And been used like trash and his healing powers side effects. So he's going to be messed up in the mind in some way. Point is, if you like this anime, doesn't it mean you're into sadistic shit? Doesn't mean you're into sadistic shit. I like it because how dark and realistic it is. Well, good sir, Mr. Black and White Duo, I do appreciate that you didn't just straight up attack me and you tried to at least come up with, your own sort of viewpoint. And I adamantly disagree with that viewpoint. You're right. You can like this anime and not be a piece of shit. Anyone can like anything and not necessarily be a bad guy. Well, what I'm talking about is are people that adamantly defend it to be something else that it's not. You say that it's dark and realistic if you remove the OP healing. Unfortunately, the OP healing is there and therefore it is unrealistic. And even if you do get rid of it, it is dark, but not realistic. You see, if you're in college, and I'm just to go to art college, I specifically study these type of things. Oh god, I sound like one of those fucking hipsters. My point is, one of the things I studied was realism. Realism, in the literary term, is essentially depicting like normal everyday stuff in whatever universe that you are writing that piece of literary in. What is happening to him, although I guess you could say it's, realistic or what. I mean, I don't see how it is because it seems like he's really the only person that is going through it. No one else in the show seems to go through it. It's not realistic. His life is not mundane. Nothing about this is real. I mean, he literally takes advantage of broken girls and makes them into his harem. That's not something that happens in everyday life. And that's not how most people would react. I'm not saying that there aren't people like that, but you can't say something is realistic when there is nothing realistic about it. I guess you might be talking about how he reacted towards the person that tortured him. And yeah, you're right. I think people do want revenge for that when terrible shit has happened to them. But generally, from what I can tell, a lot of people don't go out of their way to really like go full out. Some people are disgusted with themselves when they think about it. And really, there are a lot of people that even think about doing the things that he does, but could never actually do it themselves. Majority of the population won't react the way he did. More than likely, they'll be traumatized for the rest of their life and they won't be able to recover. So you're saying that it's realistic is frankly completely incorrect. It's not realistic because, and I'm not saying that people wouldn't react this way, but what happens with outliers does not mean that it'll be something that everyone else does, that the majority does. I mean, it's fairly. You could look up literally any study, and if you want to prove me wrong, feel free to do that, Mister Black and White Duo. And I will gladly acknowledge that I'm wrong. But as far as I can tell, you're wrong. Of course, you make a good point that he's gonna be messed up in the head, but just because bad things happen to you, and you get messed up in the head, does not give you the excuse to do terrible things, and it does not give you as a person to support a character or another person that's doing all of that, because at the end of the day they are hurting people, some of which are innocent, and even if they're not innocent, you're just as bad as them. So why would you support the people? Why would you support the character if they're just as bad as the people you hate? Like, the only difference is that that person is doing it to that other person, but the action is still being done. So again, all of this stuff is your argument kind of just falls apart. And as for people that shit on this anime low-key like it, I do not. There is literally nothing about this anime that I can like. And the thing is, I have very high standards for anime in general, so I don't like a majority of anime. I think a lot of anime is repetitive and the same kind of shit over and over again. This anime is literally, there's like, I can think of almost like 3 hentais that I've seen that follow this exact sort of route. I think there's one called like Isekai Harem or something, where like a guy gets transported into a different world and his sperm can give girls power-ups. Basically the exact same thing in this. The only difference is that they got rid of the torture. That anime is, if you put torture and you put it in that anime, that's what you get with this. It's literally the exact same fucking thing. There's nothing new about it. So you liking this anime because it's dark and realistic, maybe because it's dark, sure, but realistic? Not necessarily. And of course, I'm not going to shit on you or hate you for liking this anime. But what I can say is that your argument that this anime is anything more than what I say, which is sadistic porn / hentai, it isn't. I mean, like, I watch hentai, dude, and this fucking anime, quotation marks, literally popped up in like all the websites I use. That's gotta say something, okay? Last time I saw an anime pop up in a hentai website was Interspecies Reviewer, which I also didn't like, but, you know, that one isn't as bad. Next one is by Ryu Saki. I don't know if this person is actually Japanese or if their name is just Japanese, but sure. They say, I don't think this is garbage at all. It's a great anime. I'll say this, though. It isn't for everybody. Or even Goblin Slayer 2, just because episode 2 was fucked up. Yet, it's thrash. Maybe he's Japanese. English isn't good. And honestly, realistically speaking, even if a novel, manga, anime, etc., realistically, anybody would do that, what the MC would do. Incorrect. Literally, like, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people would think about doing what he's gonna do, but no one would actually have the guts to do it. Majority of people are not disgusting, depraved, sadistic people, even if they get tortured. And like, you can see this. You can like look up research about prisoners of war, POWs, and all that stuff. Most of the time, when they're heavily tortured and all that stuff like that, what really happens is that they can't recover from what happened to them. They get PTSD, they get nightmares, and they don't have the don't have the ability to that's not something that people do. Like, people think about that. People think about killing their torturers, sure, but no one has the ability to do it when it comes to it. Do that if they were picked as a hero of a kingdom, inviolate, and etc. Flare, she deserved everything that happened to her in the series. I'm not arguing that she didn't deserve everything that happened to her. I think she absolutely did. And obviously later on he starts getting a harem. Yes, so realistic. Everyone, just getting harems is just something everyone can get. Isn't that right, Mr. Black and White Duo? Plus, I've seen OVAs of anime that are much more fucked up than Redo the Healer. Watch Violent Jack, Evil Town OVA. You'll understand. Dude, I've fucking read the Berserk manga. There are definitely things that are significantly worse than this anime. You'll understand that this is light compared to that or Midori. I'm desensitized to this anime, but enjoying it. Then again, I've seen messed up OVAs, animes, horror films with mutilation, violence, so it doesn't afflict me. Okay, obviously Berserk or Villain Saga, etc. are better. Go future with that one, dude. Berserk is way fucking. Berserk is so fucked up. I like the trolls, man. Holy fuck. They literally make the goblins from Goblin Slayers look like fucking saints. Okay, let's break this down. You think it's great. I don't think it's great. Honestly, at that point, you can have your opinion. Goblin Slayer was good because the brutality of the goblins served a purpose. There was actual world building that showed where they came from. And there was a reason why they like raped women, and it wasn't because they just did it for pleasure or anything like that. It was because of the fact that that was really the only way they could reproduce. So already story-wise, the goblins have a reason not they're not just mindless, killing creatures as they seem to be. There is an actual reason that they do things. The main character of Goblin Slayer, his first choice is never to kill goblins, as it may seem. It is to save people from goblins. I've seen the whole show. It's very good. Yeah, he is obsessed with goblins, but his thing is never kill all the goblins. It's save people and then kill all the goblins. He's a good main character. Your typical tortured backstory type, all that other stuff. So I actually loved Goblin Slayer. Because, it had a lot of weird, moments in it, but it had decent writing. Now, I've already talked about how it's not realistic for the main character to do that. I think the problem is that a lot of the people that watch these things have this idea that it is okay to do this because they can come up with a predictable reason, because when they see the main character getting hurt, they're like, well, the first reaction a person would do is to if you get punched, the first thing you want to do is punch back. And sure, yeah, that part is true. But what the main character is doing is not realistic, because realistic would mean that is something that people would technically do. People don't do things like that. Now, of course, there's always going to be an exception, okay? But the majority of people they wouldn't do that. That's just how the majority of people would work, and therefore it's not realistic. Now, you guys are probably going to complain, oh, you're comparing with the majority of people, blah, blah, blah. They're not in that situation. Well, I mean, the main character was a normal person before he got, before he was told that he was this big thing. He was like a normal, healer dude or whatever, some bullshit. He was a normal person, and then suddenly this bad stuff happens, and then he reacted the way he did. I mean, that realistically, that's not how most people would react, and therefore, how the main character reacts is an exception and an outlier, and therefore, it is not realistic. It's something that happens just in fantasy. It's something that just happens in writings and movies and books or whatever. Does that mean that that's something that never happens in real life? I'm sure it has somewhere, maybe in some fucking third world country where there's a bunch of terrible people butchering each other. Sure, maybe, but majority of people won't do that. It's not a realistic thing to do. That's something that you only see in fantasy or in literature. I mean, him getting a harem is just fucking ridiculous. He literally straight up takes advantage of broken women. I mean, come on, dude. It doesn't matter even if those women were pieces of shit. What you're doing is still wrong. Doing bad things to bad people doesn't automatically make you good. And especially if you're doing it purely for your own pleasure. Remember that last bit before somebody fucking starts yelling at me, whoa, self-defense! I killed him! Yeah, yes. If it's self-defense, fine. If you're protecting someone, fine. That's okay. But if you're doing it for yourself and it's for a selfish reason, that's completely wrong. The first thing I can immediately think of is Berserk, and another one is Pumpkin Night, which is this anime about this girl that got fucked up. Her face got fucked up, so she wears a pumpkin mask and murders people, and it's super fucked up. I wasn't a big fan of it, but it was a really interesting read. I'm not arguing that this is the worst thing that's happened. I'm saying that this is the worst thing that's happened in anime because it's labeled an anime. Most things that are like this aren't normally anime. They're normally short indie films made by small companies. I could think of one. There's this really fucked up film about this girl that gets taken into the circus and gets taken advantage of. That was really fucked up. And most of the time, you see this type of stuff in hentai, and hentai is not mainstream, but anime nowadays is mainstream. And this is part of that thing. So that's why I say this is the worst in anime, but not like in Japanese animation, which I know that's what anime is. But also there's a lot of dividing and sex and stuff. So, whatever. I mean, you said it yourself. You're desensitized to all of this. You don't see anything wrong with what's happening. Thankfully, I'm not yet so desensitized by things like this, so it's easier for me to recognize that this is fucked up, and if you like it because of all the fucked up things that's in it, you are also fucked up. That's not such a big statement to say, and actually that's pretty good because now I can move into my next one. Great sword. They say you can like this and you can like what you like and that's that. But saying if you like this, you bad. I'm assuming it's like if you like this, you bad. I'm sure that's how it reads. Is unrelated and ridiculously tyrannical. Who gave you that? Who or what gave you that authority to decide what makes you a bad person? I thought it was fairly clear what makes you a bad person. That's if you do and like bad things and either are aware of it and continue to do something about it without getting any help. Being a functioning member of society while liking disgusting and depraved things does not make you a good person just because everyone sees that you're a good person. I would know I'm not a good person, and it takes one to know one, and I know that these people are fucking terrible. Now, doesn't that just mean I'm a hypocrite? No, because I don't like this fucking anime. I'm targeting the people that like this anime. If someone fucking went up to me and said, oh, you're a terrible person because you like this hentai that has like all sorts of fucked up tags, I'd be like, yeah, so what? I mean, yeah, I'm a bad person if I like these things then. I'm not going to disagree with them. I feel like it's fairly obvious that if you like something that's bad, you and you don't go out of your way to do something about it, you are a bad person. You see, bad people are people that are aware that they are bad, but will try and come up with some fucking reason to not be bad. Good people are, when good people do bad things, they recognize that they did bad things and they try to fix that. Bad people will try and justify things that they do. You've never seen a serial killer, truly repent until, they get to prison and they do the whole fucking, church shit. Or they learn their ways. But, they don't immediately repent after they murder somebody. Don't get me wrong, people still make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes can cause lives. Maybe somebody can well up an emotion and do something they regret. And yeah, maybe that makes them a bad person. And my thing is that, not everyone stays a bad person forever. My point is, if you like this anime, and you like it because of all the bad things that's in it, you are a bad person. How is that so hard to understand? I don't have some fucking superpower that lets me go, I know you're a bad person. You're a bad person. You're a bad person. You're a bad... No. If you support mass shooters, you're a bad person. If you support rapists, you're a bad... If you support pedophiles, you're a bad... If you support terrorists, you're a bad person. If you support a character, even if they are in fiction, that goes out of their way to torture and rape women, you are a bad person. And that's another, thing that is also, a thing. That's another argument. That it's fiction, it's not real. And I actually agree with that argument to a point. I'm not going to stop people from liking something just because, liking for something, even if it's bad. Everyone has their own right to their own opinions. But some things are so clearly obvious and pointed out that I almost feel like you don't need it. This honestly baffles me. I'm going to look at some of the replies, because I actually did reply to this comment, and I'm going to look at some of the reply, and my reply was the exact same thing. Our buddy Greatsword, the person in our previous comment, responds with, rooting for an anime character is not supporting rape. It's not supporting anything. The show is fiction. It doesn't give you the liberty of liking and making choices about something without consequences of any kind. Isn't that why fiction exists? No, fiction exists to entertain people. But I suppose that's my viewpoint. If that's what you want your viewpoint to be. If your viewpoint is you can like a character that rapes and tortures without having to deal with the consequences of doing it in real life, if that makes you sleep better at night, go ahead. Because I don't see what the difference is between liking a real life rapist torturer and a fictional rapist and torturer. If you like both of them, I feel like you're pretty bad. The only difference is that you're right, one doesn't really have any real life repercussions. But they're both terrible. If you're rooting for an anime character that is going out of his way to rape and sexually abuse women, I don't know how in any way you can say that it's not supporting rape or sexual abuse. I don't see how you can say that. I mean, the word root literally means in this sense, it literally means to noisily applaud or encourage a contestant or team, or to wish success or lend support to someone or something. It's in Merriam-Webster. That is the definition of the word. So if you're rooting for an anime character that does all these terrible things, you are fucking supporting them. I don't. How is this so hard to understand? Are you like fucking 10 years old? Do you not know how the real world works? Then he says the show is fiction, doesn't give you the liberty of liking something and making choices about some without wait, hold on, sorry. I have a stutter. The show is fiction, and doesn't that give you the liberty of liking and making choices about something without consequences of any kind? Yes. I mean, yes, you can like something and not tell anyone about it, and there will be no consequences that come out of it, I suppose. I don't see how that changes things, but again, if it makes you sleep better at night, go ahead. And the term "isn't this why fiction exists?" I don't fucking know how that works. That term is too wide. It has too many things. Since I'm taking writing classes, from what I could tell, doesn't seem to be the case. Then there's another one that says, you're thinking too far. Fiction is only fiction. Let's say you're liking Yakuza/Mafia characters, then it makes you want to be like them. I even play erotic game regularly, but I'm still not imitating what they did IRL. But yeah, let's see if the show gets a season 2 or not. It'll be interesting to see more rants like this. A regular person does not see a bad person do something bad and say, I want to be that person. People who do that are people that are messed up in the head somehow. I know because I'm like that, and I know that other people aren't like that. You see, you see, the thing with me is that when I watch any show, movie, or whatever, or read any books, I somehow always find myself rooting for the villain because, well, depending on how well written the villain is, they generally make more sense because what heroes tend to do is heroes tend to preserve the status quo. And that status quo might not necessarily be a good thing. Sometimes somebody needs to go in there and fix what's wrong with the world. And sometimes I don't necessarily agree with, do whatever it takes. The ends justify the means, sort of. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I can support that idea because at the very least they have a platform in which they can give a reason for. So I tend to support villains most of the time. Like I don't agree with what Thanos did in Endgame or Infinity War, but I supported him over the other characters because he's actually trying to change the world. They're just trying to keep it the same, and keeping the world the same isn't going to make the world any better. So yeah, I guess in that way, you can support bad characters and not necessarily agree with them, but it doesn't make me want to be like them. Like, I think a really good film that represents this is The Godfather. You step back and you think about all the characters in The Godfather, and most of the time when you're watching the movie, you just want to root for them. But the truth is, they're terrible people, and the movie wants you to know that they're terrible people, and wants you to know that you rooting for them is a bad thing. But people still kind of do it anyways. But most of the time, also they'll be like aware that, oh, right, that's right, these guys are mafia. They kill people and tie people to fucking bricks and throw them into the ocean. Like, they're not good. The erotic game thing, I mean, I do that too, dude. Right? Not gonna lie. And as far as I can tell, as long as what you're into isn't, well, as fucked up as this, and if you're doing anything fucked up that's not something you want to do in real life, I don't really care. I mean, I can, if you're fucking, like jerking it to fucking, headless pics of girls or some shit, I can definitively say you're a bad person, but, I don't know enough about this to fucking make a proper opinion. I don't know why you decided to add that little bit in. I felt like it was kind of pointless. Okay, and my very last comment is from Vagrant Art Gaming. He says, "I think most people think that the anime should have a choice to. I think most people think that the anime should have the choice to exist, even if it's garbage. People don't take censorship to take. People don't take good to censorship. They get really mad. Okay, I thought that was me fucking up, but that's just bad grammar." To be fair, you are angry. Shock value is more than enough reason to make the show like this. You don't have to be an incel to make this just a visionary. We wouldn't be talking about it if the show was generic, would we? No, I'm talking about it because the show is generic, and people are talking about it. I'm talking about the people talking about the show that is actually just straight up fucking generic. This show is literally just every hentai that exists. Main character, mind breaks, gets a harem. What the fuck? That's just hentai. This is a hentai with like 12 episodes. Because like hentai, this show has an unreasonable amount of nudity and sex and no fucking plot. I'm not... I suppose I think this might come from my first initial sort of statement where I think, why does this thing even exist? Well, I mean, I can understand that now. And I will say that as a criticism that I will gladly take, which is like, you're right. Anime, no matter how good or bad, hentai, no matter how good or bad, should have a choice to exist. And I think it should be people's option. People should have a choice to make it not exist. And that's about it. I'll leave it at that. That got the better of me, and yeah. Since, to be fair, your angry shock value is more than enough reason to make a show like this. You don't have to be an incel. You're right. You don't have to be an incel to like this show. I think that if you watch this show and you look at everything and you find it funny, that's and you like it because you find everything so entertaining, not necessarily because you agree with what's happening, but because you find it funny. I suppose that's an argument that's fair and can be made. But the show is generic. The only reason why it's being talked about is because of, obviously, the second episode, and second, because it is labeled as an anime, but in reality, we both know it's not. Or whatever. The definition in term of what an anime is fucking, I don't know. It's, It can change a lot depending on each person. So I suppose this argument is also invalid, but, that's how I see it. I actually pinned a comment onto this because I wanted to explain myself a little better, because I felt like I was doing a lot of ranting and not a lot of criticizing. And you can technically kind of do both at the same time, but in this case I was doing more ranting than I was criticizing, and the dislikes are in fact understandable. So I'm going to read basically what the comment that I pinned, and then our homie Greatsword the comment we talked about before, I'm going to read that as well. I'm not going to be putting on screen. You can just go to the video. You should have checked the video before watching this anyways. I don't know why I didn't say that at the beginning, but if you want to do that now, and yeah, and make your own opinion about it. You could say that I'm wrong, and you have every right to do so. I will just disagree with you. I say, all right, folks, listen up. I've seen a decent amount of comments that misunderstood what I meant. Perhaps due to how heated I was during recording, I may have stopped critiquing the show and attacked the people who watch it directly. Understand that despite the title, this is not supposed to be the case. So I'm making this comment to clear things up. 1. I adamantly believe that the show is toward revenge porn. It has no depth characters, especially villains, one-dimensional with no real motivations for being evil than being evil. Their writing is not realistic or complex. Everything about it is predictable as fuck. I've seen hentai written better writing. Oof. I've been shitting on people's grammar. My grammar's just as bad. Hell, I've seen hentai with the exact same amount of same type of plot. It's not any special. A dude with magical cum that gives girls powers uses them to get a harem? That doesn't seem that unique or realistic to me. Second, the power system is basic and stupid. It exists primarily as a mechanic to have the main character accomplish things that he wants to do. Well, no shit, that's the powers are meant for, in parentheses. I wouldn't have such a big problem with it if it wasn't called fucking healing. Well, I've stated this a billion times already in this video. You can call it time manipulation. It would make more sense. Honestly, the powers here are just the least of my concerns. Yeah, that is true. I don't really give a shit about the powers. I think it's stupid, but that's not the reason why it's like this. My third one is my important bit. If you watch the show, there's nothing wrong with you. People can enjoy dark shit and enjoy the show as a whole is up to you. There is no way to really argue why you should or shouldn't watch the show. I even mentioned this in my video multiple times. People can be into dark shit, especially dark revenge fantasies, all you want, but still be a functioning member of society. But I mentioned before, that doesn't mean that you're a good person. It just means that you're a functioning member of society. However, if you're the main character and support everything he does, you are actually fucked in the head. Having bad things happen to you doesn't give you the right or the excuse to do bad things to other people. If that was the case, you would be supporting plenty of abused serial killers, bullied mass shooters, but you don't. The main character is evil at the end of the story, raping a girl that deserved it, and a girl that doesn't deserve it doesn't matter. It's still rape. It's still murder and all of the other terrible shit he's done. You may believe that he has the right to do this, but that rule applied in our world. Lots of people will die, innocent or not. Yes, this is anime. Yes, this is fiction, but ultimately, what we like and the things that we support reflect our reflection on ourselves. Liking or supporting a dude who's the main protagonist, says a lot about you as a person. Our buddy Greatsword, reflects with. So you're trying to be self-aware about being heated and irrational in a video, even though you're going to go to do the same thing. Yes. In what way is liking dark shit and supporting a character that is the cause of that dark shit different? You see, I never said that you're a good person if you like dark shit and don't do it. I never said that. I just said that that's okay. I never said you're a good person. The idea of if you're just as bad or he's worse, it's a really hard line to cross. But if you really wanted me to give my proper opinion, I would say that makes you not as bad as him, but pretty fucking close. If you do support a character who does dark shit. Now, liking dark shit just means you might like different, like, sort of tones of story. Maybe you like horror. You might not like being a monster or the person that's running in it, but you might like the idea of the story. You could like the idea of a dark story and not be directly into the specificity of it. People who defend him are expressing their opinions which in no way support anything the character does. If you defend someone that is doing something evil, you are supporting their evil acts, because you are making an excuse for that person's evil acts. I feel like that's pretty fucking easy. You might not directly support his or her evil acts, but you are indirectly supporting it. Again, I feel like this is really fucking obvious. I don't understand how people can be so fucked in the head that they don't recognize what they're saying. If you're this passionate about law and justice, why you go after people who only by your individual opinion are fucked in the head because some random anime that's going to be irrelevant in 3 weeks, or go after actual bad people, supporting those said bad people. I actually have. Absolutely. See, this video was to catch an audience, or I guess a number of audience, so that so that people can see my videos and perhaps change their mind, or maybe gain better understanding of why they might like something or dislike something. Who fucking knows? But as for those other things, I absolutely have. I'm not going to go into specifics, but I have reported websites that contain very illegal things to like the proper authorities. That is something that I actually do. Now, only if it's technically illegal. If it's fucked up, but it's technically not illegal, I just kind of leave it alone. But yes, I do those things. I'm not going to go into specifics, but I mean, I think there was some websites that I found, because I shouldn't say that. I don't really get on Reddit at all. I had a friend group that for some reason like to text each other really terrible shit, like beheadings and murders and stuff like that. Stuff that I wasn't into. Oh, sorry about that. Somebody just tried to call me. And he says, to me, it seems like you're just fishing for easy clicks. I don't have the know-how and knowledge to even do that. I literally just had an opinion and decided to put it out into the internet. That's all I really did. I didn't do anything special. I'm not fishing for clicks. If I wanted to do that, you can look at my other videos where I actually am fishing for clicks. And that's me taking other people's content. I say that, but I'm not actually fishing for clicks for those videos as well. I just think that those specific clips are funny, and I like to have them there. They just happen to get a lot of views. My response to this was, I'm sure I'm going to say things I already said before, but let's go ahead and do that. When I first saw the anime, it was obvious from the clips of that scene. Memes were about it everywhere. When I first saw it, I legitimately thought that it was the bad guy, and then watched it, and I was wrong. But I didn't care enough, so I ignored it. Yeah, I did. I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I was like, this is fucked up. I don't like this anime. I'm going to stop watching it. I thought to myself, this is fucked up disgusting anime. I'm sure no one's going to watch it. So I ignored it. But it kept popping up in my feed, my YouTube, Instagram. I follow a lot of anime stuff. I eventually was curious and read ahead in the manga and found even more disturbing shit. Not as bad as like the first 2 episodes, but still pretty fucking bad, actually. Like really bad. Here's the thing, though. My problem has never been about the anime itself. There are hundreds of doujins hentai that honestly dwarf Reader the Healer. Yes, there are, dude. There's some fucked up shit. I've seen some. My problem is that people who support the show and make excuses for the terrible shit that happens in it. They glorify how the main character was raped by saying the maid is hot, so it's okay, or he's trying to steal their skills or XP, or he rapes, manipulates girls that are obviously torture. Or when he rapes or when he rapes and manipulates girls that are obviously tortured and broken, and they say he was raped and tortured by her, so she deserves it. Or, and I'm annoyed by the excuses that people give for liking the show. Just say you like dark shit and revenge porn, and stop saying, well, it's realistic and the writing is good. Our boy, Great Sword responds is, yeah, we all know you gotta have some issues if you like this stuff, but those issues aren't really nothing to sweat about. Are they really, though? But are they really nothing to sweat about? Problems like this tend to have a snowball effect. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that anime or whatever will cause something bad to happen. I always think the idea of how TV shows and video games or whatever, make people bad because there's violence on screen and they see violence and violence makes them bad. No, I think that people, if they're already fucked up and they see violence, it makes them want to incite violence. And if people that are actually fucked in the head and don't understand that what is happening here is wrong, see this, it is actually bad. I feel like sure, but I think everyone knows that to the extent that people don't really need to just plain out and confess that they love seeing women abused, but rather it falls to you who don't understand that kind of stuff to interpret that. Liking dark shit is an existing popular concept because a big chunk of the population either have a mild to strong sadistic pleasure of just a fascination. In my opinion, undeveloped sadism. No, a majority of people don't have that. Don't get me wrong. A majority of people do actually think about like murder on the daily, which is weird, but it's true. There are studies that support that. What you're saying is not supported by any study that I'm aware of. If you can quote me, sure, go ahead. And before anyone says, well, what about your studies? Dude, I can just remember the general idea of it, like when you look at a graph, you don't look at the specific numbers, or at least when you remember a graph, you don't look at the specific numbers, you just see the sort of general shape of like what's more than what's less than this. I don't know that, this is 80% of this or 20% of that, but if you want to go ahead and prove me wrong, I will gladly change my mind if in that specific point, if I was wrong. But as far as I can tell, a majority of the population does not have this quote-unquote undeveloped sadism that you have. What I can say is that a lot of the population are petty. Not a lot of people are mature enough to walk away from situations, and I suppose that can cause negative things to happen in their mind where they start to like this sort of stuff. I could start a huge philosophical rant about why such exists and why it truly tells a person what it truly tells about a person, but the main point is that a stunning number of people who are, you said, fucked in the head, those people aren't a menace to society. I never said that they were a menace to society. Never said that. In fact, I quite very clearly stated that like you can still like dark shit and be a functioning member of society. That doesn't mean you're a good person. It just means that you are a functioning member of society. I have the ability, and so do you, and so does everyone else, that if you see someone that likes something dark and fucked up, you have the absolute right to say you're fucked up for liking that thing that is dark and fucked up. Because it's right there. It's proof. If you are defending a character that does terrible things, defending meaning that you are indirectly supporting them, because if you are defending someone who does terrible things, then that means that that person gets to continue doing those terrible things, and therefore you were indirectly supporting them. This makes me want to go back to Ryusaki, where he says, I've seen messed up anime, OVAs, movie horror films with mutilation, violence, and it doesn't affect me. The thing is, when I see those things in movies, I don't watch a lot of that, because I'm not a big fan of horror. But the thing is, because I'm not a big fan of it, and I'm a very logical person. I break things down very individualistic through like different parts. When I see horror, I'm like, well, that's dumb. The monster's stupid. Why would you be scared of that? Blah blah blah. I can break it down and essentially convince myself not to be scared. Now that doesn't count. Obviously, I can't do it with jump scares because it's a jump scare. But that's me being more surprised and less scared. But with horror shit and terrible shit, with gore and all that, I don't see that doesn't necessarily affect me, but it's not something that I would go out of my way to look for. So that means that I am not like as deep as most people are into dark shit like this anime and all the other things. But what that does mean is that my viewpoint is not so corrupted by my bias towards these dark things. A lot of people that defend these things will come up with whatever excuse they want to justify liking something bad, so that they can remain as good, quotation marks, good people. Doesn't matter what excuse you have. If you like dark, terrible shit, you are a dark and terrible person. And you can be a dark and terrible person and be a functioning member of society. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are a good person. I'm pointing out that the people that defend this character for all the terrible things he does, which I have stated multiple times, is if you defend a bad person that's doing bad things, are indirectly supporting that person's bad things, if not directly, means that you are a bad person by supporting a bad person that is doing bad things. Everything can be broken down to the easiest labels and parts. It's not that complicated, you guys. I'm generally not an emotional person. I'm a very logical and scientific person. I like to think things through. And this video that I have right now is, as you could probably tell, fairly different from my other videos, or the other Redo the Healer video I have. Because I don't get me wrong, I'm a more logical person, I'm emotional, but doesn't mean I don't get emotional. And then certainly in that video, I let my emotions run loose, specifically my anger and my rage and all that stuff. Because frankly, I was just goddamn sick and tired about how everyone wants to defend this anime despite the fact that it's absolute fucking garbage. But in this video, I'm taking a step back and breaking everything down that you guys are saying, and what I'm saying is, all of you are wrong. This is why. You want to prove me wrong? Break down what I said. I will counteract, and if you put me at a standstill, or if you beat me, go ahead. Congratulations on you. But I'm sorry, man. But if you like dark shit and you support bad people for doing bad things, you're a bad person. I feel like that's kind of obvious, right? I didn't say you couldn't be a functioning member of society. You might be able to go throughout your entire life. You might be able to go through your entire life without doing a single evil thing. But if you are, I suppose supporting an evil person is pretty evil. But you yourself might do these. You yourself might not do these terrible things. But if you support somebody that does, you're not helping the situation, and that's what everyone else is doing with this anime. That's what's happening, because if a lot of people like this, people are going to start making more of this. This is something that should stay underground and not ever go up in the mainstream idea, because if a lot of people agree with this sort of viewpoint, the people that are actually fucked up in the head that will see this will actually come up with a and that's how people that are fucked in the head work. They will come up with whatever reason or excuse to do this fucked up thing. That's just how it works. You know, you can look at murderers, serial killers, mass shooters, all that stuff. They are people that are mentally unwell, and although they might be inspired by video games or movies or whatever, the video games, movies, and anime aren't the cause. This anime itself isn't gonna cause a regular person to be a bad person. It's gonna cause a person that's already mentally unwell to do bad things. That's the whole point of all this, which is why I don't think it should be in the mainstream media. I don't think it should be mainstream. Like, I think I'm fine with it existing as long as it's one of those underground sort of hentai things or whatever, but it shouldn't be mainstream, because the more people that see it, the more people that might not be well adjusted are more likely to be exposed to this type of stuff. Anyways, this is about almost an hour long. I've gotten to about 50 minutes of recording, and I can guarantee you no one got past anything. If you made it this far, congratulations. Put in the comments that, hey, I made it to the 50-minute mark. And if you still disagree with me, feel free to go into the comments and tell me why you disagree with me. If you haven't seen my other video, my rant, you can go ahead. I think I'll put it in the description. Yeah. And yeah, again, feel free to declare war on me on the comments. I won't stop you. So, yup. Anyways, everyone that's watching, have a good day. And yeah.